It has made it to Friday. It is the 22nd of December. Hello, folks. Cheers. Someone asked, is it the creamer? Well, good question. Most likely it is. The ratio of cream to coffee that makes it just right. Today we've got another really good morning. I'm looking a little bit rough to me. I just woke up. I need a shave. Bleary-eyed. I just woke up a little late. Some days I try to sleep in hoping that I can sleep off it's interesting, the tinnitus, because I've experienced it where it literally just turned on while I'm sitting here. But mostly what it happens is that it's overnight. I'll wake up and it'll either be still going or it'll be gone. This morning is another noisy day, unfortunately. That's good. I'm fully functional. It just sucks that I've got this noise in the back of, in my head. It just sucks. Well, let's talk some music, okay? So it arrived yesterday. Thalum McDonough is his last name, McDonough. Terry Riley and Nels Cline. Nels Cline is the most recognizable name on this, probably because of Wilco. Limited edition of 300. I went ahead and ordered it from their Bandcamp site. I don't do this often. I shouldn't say I don't like to, but it's the truth. I don't. And yet it's my lifeblood. If people didn't order from me online, I'd be screwed in many ways. So it takes a lot for me to order online. It also has to do with my obsessive behavior. It's like a tap. Once you start, it's hard to stop. And I've experienced that before. It's like, oh, I can get this, I can get this, I can get this, and I just I got to just try to keep the guardrails up. So, Other Minds strikes me as an interesting label. This is a beautiful cardboard. You can almost feel where it's been, the press that it came off of. Good insert that explains this. It helps that it's explained. So this, as I said before, I have the files here where Thalum and I started a project long distance, and it didn't take off. This is based on a long distance vocalizing thing that he started doing with Terry Riley, where they just started sharing vocalizing files. Where you're just using your voice, not words, but the voice and phonetics, whatever. And this is instructive to me, actually, as well as I like it. But it's instructive to me. I do necessarily need to talk a little bit about myself while I talk about the album. Part of why my attempt to work with Thalum didn't work is because I was second guessing myself too much. I did not throw abandon to the wind. I didn't just throw myself into it. What happened here between Terry and Thalum is that they both went for it. Thalum has shared quite a bit of his, not quite, but a fair amount of music of his with me digitally, besides some records that I own. And I think of Thalum as being brave as well as quite good. I mean, he's a very good keyboardist. But he sings, and he sings a lot. And it's not that he has a good singing voice, but it's that he wants to sing. And so he does. And on this album, Terry Riley is doing the exact same. He's freely expressing whatever is coming out, what I'm feeling, here it comes. And they react to each other. And it's free. And as a result, there are moments where it's a little bit lighthearted, maybe even silly. But mostly what it is it's you can use the word exploratory. That's part of it. But also it's just, well, this is what's happening and it's coming out. They did a great job of taking it to a higher musical level. It was Terry said, so Thalum said his idea was to simply meet online and vocalize together. Neither of us had any idea what the result would be. This was during the pandemic. Terry loved the result and suggested it could be used as a musical through line of some sort. That's when Thalum approached Nels Cline to see what he wanted to do. This is really good. It's very compelling. It's sonically rich. It's not just the voices. It starts with the voices and it moves into all sorts of stuff. This is just what I love. And it's really well played and constructed. It's also set up as two pieces, before and after, one sidelong piece. It's really good, very compelling. Thalum, if you see this, man, that really worked. That's a collaboration, and it inspires me to let go more. Let go more on the inside. Just go with what you're doing. I try to, and sometimes I do. I'm going to try harder. So I'll leave the link to the Bandcamp site or Other Minds website where you can get this. Only 300 copies. I see where Gary... I'll shout you out, Gary Schwartz. Apparently Gary is still watching me, as well as online. Gary shared with me that he's bought a copy already based on what I said. I still have your record, Gary. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. A couple more records out, and I did go to the record store. I don't think I'm going today. Yesterday, Recycled Sounds got in a used record that I've been looking for. I went and got it. Not in the best shape, but I got it. Just also so you folks know, I'm still absorbing all of the music that I got from Daniel in Germany. It's not just sitting and being forgotten. I'm just not talking about it, But I've listened, and I keep listening. Here's something I've been intending to get back to, because the last time I played it, I only played one side, and that was a mistake. It was the side that I don't like. Storm Corrosion, the collaboration between Steven Wilson and Michael Ackerfeld. Yeah, I like these people. I like those people. I do like those people. I'd like to meet them. I've almost met Steven Wilson twice. I was talking to John Wesley one time, and it was just real obvious that Steven was passing by, busy, gave off that vibe, don't bug me, so I left him alone. And the other time was up in Minneapolis, where they were playing at a club, and he was just busy, so I was like, I'm right here, but it's obvious that he's not here talking, he's setting up, so I'm going to leave him alone. This is gorgeous and beautiful. 3 of the 4 sides are fantastic. There's no heaviness on here. It's all, and I think that's really, in hindsight, a brilliant move on their part, that they didn't do the obvious move. Oh, Steven Wilson is Doing something with Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth. This should be really heavy. Well, in a way it is, but in the opposite way. It's heavily beautiful. It's beautiful. That was a pleasant surprise. So when I went to the record store, Recycled, I'm happy. I don't know that Stuart watches I probably doesn't watch me, but he's surprising me now. It's like, oh, so he's buying stuff with me and a couple other people in mind, and it's what he told me yesterday. Because there was a record there that I didn't expect there that I want. I said, whoa, great. But first, the one that he contacted me about. He got in some used records that he bought, and I can take it. I dish it out, but I can take it. So Stuart says that I look for weird records, the weird records for you, and this one other person, you know. Tarantula, been wanting this forever. 1970, I believe, or thereabouts. I've always liked this cover. Always liked that cover, that image. And the record is in fairly decent shape. There's a scratch on one side, but it plays through. And as a result, he gave this to me at a very good price, very, very low price. Now that I have it, I've actually had this for a while on burned CD, but never got real familiar with it. They describe this as kind of jazz rocky. That's incorrect. There's a couple of parts where it gets a little bit jazzy. This is pure end of the 60s rock music, excuse me, with touches of psychedelia and other pastiche thrown in. This is what people used to do, a lot of pastiche. Of note, Oz Bach, the guy with the big mustache there, he was originally in the band Spanky and Our Gang. And one of the other players on here, Edelman, played with the Carpenters for a while, Mike Edelman. Spanky and Our Gang, besides their radio hits, put out this album produced by Bob Dereck, who sang on the Miles Davis album, I think, before anyone else did. And it's very good. I have it. I forget the name of the album. It's like a concept album. But musically, this is just okay. More than anything, it's like, I am a collector. I'm collecting. This is the records of my youth, stuff I never had, that I'm still interested in owning. So for those reasons alone, I'm very happy to get it. This next record was in the used that, for the same reason, in an archival way, I want this in my collection. But this is cool. This is like maybe a second run. The Fugs' first album on ESP disc came out in 1965. This is a 1965 pressing. ESP would do multiple pressings of their records, because I guess because they would do them in small runs. And there would be minor differences in each reissue. So that's how I know this is an early one. It's not the first one. Now, this is pretty archival because the humor on here is very dated, but some of the underlying text of the humor is still very relevant. And then this, to me, also, it's just emblematic of the 60s, which, you know, was the era of my childhood. Even my dad was hip to the Fugs. He knew about the Fugs when I was a kid. As I was listening to this, I was reflecting on how my dad, probably because of his drug connections as well as music, had hippie friends. And there were times that I would go with him to his hippie friends' houses. Maybe he's there to score. I'm just a kid, so I don't know. But I can remember a couple people who were long hairs and had these huge record collections that inspired me. I saw records that I recognized, and I saw these other records where I've still to this day, I don't think I've ever seen them again. It's like, what is this? What is this? There'd be Janis Joplin Cosmic Blues album, then If Squared, and then these other records. Like, what is that? Never seen them before. And I would see records like this, like the Fugs in those collections. So this is archival. This is not something I'm going to be playing. But when I saw it, I said, yeah, this goes home. This belongs in my library. The record that pleased me to find there, because I got a Steve Hackett album from Recycled unexpectedly. I go out there and I look through the new stuff, and there's another one. Wild Orchids. Now, I have this on CD, bought this on CD when it came out. But I was tickled, number one, that it's even out there at Recycled Sounds for me to get. Even more tickled that he managed to get one of the limited edition red vinyl versions, and that is a beautiful shade of red. It's a beautiful, quiet pressing. Now, I want to make this comment about Steve Hackett before I forget, because I have long wondered about his interest in vampires. He sings a lot of songs about the darkness and vampires and consequently about Satan, or that whole trip. I, for one, have wondered at times, what is that about? Is that just a teenage interest that has grown, or is there more going on there? It's not, I can never know, so I guess it doesn't matter. But it's crossed my mind more than once. What is with Steve Hackett and vampires and some of this spooky music shit that he does? That part of his music I actually do not like, when he gets all into spooky stuff. I don't find that entertaining, and and I think it's a little weird. And it just, on this album, it just kind of struck me yesterday. It's like, why does he always do that? Oh well, we're all individuals. The other thing that I bought, kind of on a whim, glad I bought it though. I knew what I was getting, but at the same time, it's not that I collect this artist. But they have this reissue. Barry Adamson, Oedipus Schmedipus, from the band magazine. I don't think he was in was he with Nick Cave for a while? I know Nick Cave is on here. Inspirational black man to me. I wrote him in my early days on the internet. I still have it in my archives. I saved it, where I somehow got hold of his email, and I wrote him and thanked him because he has inspired me as a black man who doesn't play what is typically expected, and that's where it is. He doesn't play what is typically expected of a black person on the bass, which inspired me. I love that band. He wrote me back, and said it's a full circle. Hearing from you means a lot to me, So what I like about Barry Adamson is I don't know how much soundtrack work he's actually done, but he sets up his records and his stuff like soundtracks, like detective movie soundtracks. Really well done. Really well done. And he works with great people. Jarvis Cocker of Pulp is on here. Like I said, Nick Cave. White vinyl, I said, yeah. That makes it kind of groovy. I'll get the white vinyl reissue. This is very good. It's also cinematic. Very cinematic audio-wise. It's really, really well thought out and deeply recorded. Good stuff. I'm glad I bought it. Yesterday I pulled this. Now, I knew when I bought this that this really is a naked money grab for the most part for Record Store Day, in that these are tapes from somebody's collection, not recordings meant to be released. But I played all of one album of this Tangerine Dream live box set. Okay. Live in Paris, Palais de Congrès, 1978. The sound recording quality of this is poor. It is. It's poor. It's like somebody's cassette or something, or maybe it's not a board recording. It just couldn't be. It's actually a bit tedious. It's a live recording, so there's these patches where it's like, well, they're just going. Where's the next inspiration? This is the album I played both sides. So this one, there's drumming. I read the story, but I forget if this is the one where they had the American Steve Joliffe in the band. So there's these vocals too, and the vocals are just really, in my opinion, just really a bad idea. The vocals are just a bad idea to me. They don't help the music at all. I like these records. I like vinyl, and I do, honestly, sometimes just sit for a few seconds like this and put the records under the light and admire the pressing and the color and everything. It's fun. I'm going to show all three because the last one is my favorite color, orange. Always have loved the color orange. I've always found it intriguing that it's my favorite color and how it's so beautiful, and it also very dangerous at the same time. Very dangerous. So that's what I got for you, folks. It's already after 20 minutes. I got the update from UPS that the Muse is due to arrive by the end of the day tomorrow, and most likely I won't get it till the end of the day tomorrow. But I'm very happy. That's a quick turnaround. So next week, well, most likely, the way that I operate is as soon as they get here, I'm going to put it back on sale. I could put it on sale today, but I'm going to wait till I actually have them. It's just, I'd rather do that. I've done pre-ordering before, and it just felt weird that I'm getting money before I have the actual thing I'm selling. So I'm not going to do that. But I should have them tomorrow night. I saw that Michael P. Dawson shared with me that he was going to be seeing Brian Day perform. I wonder how that went, Michael, And as I said to you, you say hi to Brian for me. Brian is an instrument maker, a very creative person. He travels a lot. He's always traveling. It seems like he travels most of the year. And so I forget where Michael lives, but Brian just played there a couple nights ago. I still have these for sale. $10 a pop. I still have interlude. You folks that are getting the Muse, don't be fooled now. That music is from the same bag as interlude. So if you're buying the Muse, but you're not buying interlude, this is a match. I wrote and created all this music. On the Muse, we have the addition of two other musicians who bring their magic, and it does make it real special. But this is already some good shit, so I don't know why so many people are sitting on not getting this. Get this. Interlude. I'm watching how people are bending over backwards for this disgusting silver spoon privileged white man. We wouldn't be going through this if his skin wasn't white. I'm talking about Donald Trump. It's such a double standard, and it's just because he's white and presumed to be rich that we're dealing with this. It's wrong. I just hate to see how, because of power and money and racism, that the courts, the entire country can't do the right thing. This man is simply doing all this to try to keep his ass out of jail now. This has nothing to do with him representing anyone. It's pathetic how his base say, he's our man, he's fighting for us. That's a bunch of bullshit. And it just goes on and on and on. And if it wasn't because our values were fucked up in the first place, where money and shiny things is our talisman, or the thing that we're after, as opposed to a good life and caring about one another. That's why we're in this fix, because our values are wrong. I'll keep speaking up. I'm watching every day. For the sake of all my friends' little babies, so they can have a somewhat decent future, this scumbag needs to be taken out, and all the people that are behind him called out. That shit is wrong. Okay, I gotta speak on it, and I will. As I sit here, I'm happy to say that even though I'm having ringing, it's less than yesterday, and that's usually how it goes. 2 or 3 days, and then there'll be a day I'll wake up and it's like it's almost completely quiet. So we'll just grin and bear this day. How are you all doing? Take care.